There exists a silent crisis that is affecting millions of men around the world. It's a crisis that quietly chips away at the quality of life for countless fathers, grandfathers, brothers, and husbands, stealing sleep, confidence, and freedom. It's a conversation that almost no one is having loudly enough, and the consequences of this silence are silently deteriorating the well-being of men everywhere. And that conversation is about your prostate. As a dedicated prostate health researcher and advocate, I believe it's a conversation that every man over the age of 60 absolutely must have. Not in whispers, not behind closed doors, and definitely not when it's already too late. Today, we're going to break that silence. I'm going to share with you 5 simple, natural daily habits that could protect, restore, and potentially save your prostate health. These aren't cheap tricks or old wives' tales. What I'm about to share with you is real science, backed by solid evidence, credible, applicable strategies that researchers and medical professionals around the globe are using to help men age with fewer discomforts, fewer complications, and far more liberty. If you're over 60, or if someone close to your heart is, I urge you to stay with me. This might just be the most important video you watch all year. There's a silent crisis unfolding in the lives of millions of men around the world. It's a crisis that doesn't make headlines, but it quietly deteriorates the quality of life for countless fathers, grandfathers, brothers, and husbands. It's a deeply personal issue, one that many feel reluctant to discuss, even with their doctors. And the consequences of this silence are slowly, but surely, eroding the very freedom and vitality that should define our later years. I'm talking about prostate health. And I want to have a conversation that I believe every man over the age of 60 needs to hear. Not in whispers, not behind closed doors, and definitely not when it's too late. What I'm about to share with you isn't about myths or cheap tricks. This is real, evidence-based science. These are 5 simple, natural, and incredibly powerful daily habits that researchers and medical professionals across the globe are using to help men age with fewer discomforts, fewer complications, and far more liberty. If you are over 60, or if someone close to your heart is, I urge you to stay with me. This could be the most important video you watch all year. To fully appreciate why these habits are so essential, you first need to understand the nature of the prostate itself. The prostate gland is small, roughly the size of a walnut, and it's situated just below the bladder, encircling the urethra, the tube through which urine exits the body. It plays a fundamental role in male reproductive health by producing the seminal fluid that nourishes and transports sperm. For most of a man's life, up until around the age of 50, the prostate is barely noticeable. But starting in the 6th decade of life, this small gland begins to change, and often, not for the better. The medical term for this age-related growth is benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. While it isn't cancer, it can feel intensely invasive. According to the National Institutes of Health, more than 50% of men in their 50s already show signs of prostate enlargement. By the time men reach their 70s, that figure climbs to over 80%. How does this manifest in daily life? For many, it starts subtly: a weaker urine stream, a constant feeling that the bladder isn't completely empty, difficulty starting to urinate, or even worse, frequent trips to the bathroom during the night that interrupt sleep and drain energy. The majority of men simply assume that this is an unavoidable part of getting older. But that is a dangerous myth. New scientific research shows that prostate inflammation and enlargement can be significantly influenced and even improved through daily habits that regulate inflammation, hormones, and blood flow. You don't have to simply accept these symptoms as your fate. You have the power to influence your health, and it starts with the first, most fundamental habit. Now, while these 5 foundational habits we're about to cover are crucial for building long-term prostate wellness, I know that many of you watching right now are looking for a way to address these frustrating symptoms more directly and, frankly, more quickly. That's why I want to briefly pause and tell you about a bizarrely simple, all-natural home remedy that thousands of men, just like you, are now using to restore the rock-hard, long-lasting erections of their youth. It's a powerful method that targets the true root cause of these issues, a specific boner killer enzyme in the body that dangerous pills completely ignore. If you want to see exactly how this remedy works, I've linked a special, free video presentation just for you. To watch it right now, simply open the camera on your phone and point it at the QR code you see on the screen. If you're on a device where you can't use the code, don't worry, you can also find the direct link pinned at the very top of the comments section below this video. I strongly encourage you to watch it. Okay, for those of you ready to dive into the 5 foundational, long-term strategies for prostate resilience, let's move on to our very first habit. The first habit is hidden in plain sight, and it's something most of us think we have under control. But the secret isn't just in what you drink, but how and, crucially, when you drink it. I call this strategic hydration. As we age, our natural sensation of thirst tends to diminish. This makes it incredibly easy for older adults to live in a state of chronic, low-grade dehydration without even realizing it. The result? Your urine becomes excessively concentrated and acidic. Think about it. Your kidneys are working overtime to conserve water, so they pack more waste products into less fluid. This concentrated liquid then sits in your bladder, where it acts as a constant irritant to the sensitive lining of both the bladder and the prostate tissue itself. This irritation aggravates the prostate, contributes to inflammation, and is one of the primary triggers for that frustrating sense of urinary urgency, especially the kind that wakes you up at night. So, the solution is a simple but profound shift in your routine. It's a technique called front-loading your hydration. This means you should drink the majority of your water for the day from the morning through the mid-afternoon. By doing this, you keep your urine diluted and less irritating during your most active hours. Then, as evening approaches, you begin to gradually reduce your fluid intake, especially in the 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. This simple timing adjustment gives your body ample time to process the fluids and allows your bladder to be relatively empty when you lie down to sleep. And this isn't just theory. A study published in the Journal of Urology, which involved over 2,000 men aged 60 and older, demonstrated that a well-distributed hydration schedule, combined with reduced fluid intake at night, led to a staggering 41% reduction in the urgency and frequency of nighttime urination. So, here's your prescription. Treat your hydration like a medical plan. Aim to drink 6 to 8 glasses of water consistently, starting from the moment you wake up until mid-afternoon. Then, gradually taper off. This simple, routine-based adjustment reduces irritation, eliminates toxins gently, and allows your bladder, and by extension, your prostate, to rest while you do. It's an incredibly simple habit that can have a revolutionary impact on your sleep and overall comfort. Now, let's talk about nutrition, because the daily decisions you make on your plate transform into either a source of inflammation or a form of powerful medicine. The foods you eat impact everything from hormonal regulation to inflammation, and yes, even your risk of developing prostate cancer. Let's begin with one of the most potent and well-studied compounds in current prostate research, lycopene. Lycopene is a powerful phytonutrient, the very pigment that gives foods like tomatoes, guava, and watermelon their rich, red color. Decades of research have linked high intake of lycopene to a significantly lower risk of prostate issues. But here is the critical detail that many people miss. Your body absorbs lycopene far more effectively when it's cooked, particularly with a healthy fat. Raw tomatoes are good for you, but cooked tomatoes in a sauce, soup, or stew, especially one made with a little olive oil, are a superfood for your prostate. The heat breaks down the plant cell walls, making the lycopene more bioavailable. A landmark meta-analysis published by the International Journal of Cancer, which reviewed numerous studies, found that men who regularly consumed cooked tomato products had up to a 28% lower risk of developing prostate malignancies. Next, let's discuss zinc. This essential mineral is found in higher concentrations in the prostate gland than in any other soft tissue in the body, which tells us just how vital it is. Zinc is a cornerstone of prostate health. It helps support the healthy balance of testosterone, is crucial for countless enzymatic reactions, and maintains the structural stability of the prostate. As men age, zinc levels can decline, which is why incorporating zinc-rich foods is so important. And you don't need to look far. Pumpkin seeds are an absolute powerhouse of zinc. Just a small handful a day can make a significant difference. Other excellent sources include shellfish like oysters, nuts, and legumes. Finally, we need to talk about cruciferous vegetables. This is the family of vegetables that includes broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts. These vegetables contain a remarkable compound called sulforaphane. Think of sulforaphane as a master regulator of your body's cellular defense system. It's known to influence detoxification pathways, helping your body eliminate harmful compounds, and it plays a role in preventing the kind of DNA mutations and cellular damage that could potentially lead to cancer. So, what does the ideal prostate protective plate look like? It's not about restrictive dieting or exotic supplements. It is predominantly plant-based, rich in a rainbow of colors, and powered by lean proteins and healthy fats. It features a warm tomato sauce over whole grain pasta, a side of steamed broccoli drizzled with olive oil, and a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds on your morning oatmeal. In this context, food becomes proactive care, an affordable, powerful way to support your prostate's resilience for the long haul. Our third habit is one of the most underestimated, yet completely free, strategies for prostate health, the post-meal movement. This isn't about running a marathon or hitting the gym for an intense workout. It's far simpler. It's a light, 15-minute walk, ideally taken shortly after your lunch and dinner. So, what's happening physiologically when you do this? Why is this simple walk so powerful? The benefits are multifaceted. First, a gentle walk activates blood flow throughout your body, including in the pelvic region. Think of it as a natural, gentle pump that improves circulation to the prostate gland. This enhanced blood flow is crucial. It delivers a fresh supply of oxygen and essential nutrients to the prostate tissue while simultaneously helping to flush out metabolic waste and inflammatory byproducts. For an aging gland that is prone to congestion and inflammation, this boost in circulation is incredibly beneficial. Second, walking after a meal has a profound effect on regulating your blood sugar. When you eat, your body converts carbohydrates into glucose, causing your blood sugar to rise. A light walk helps your muscles absorb that glucose more efficiently, which in turn reduces the need for a large insulin spike. This is key because chronic high blood sugar and insulin resistance are directly associated with increased inflammation and a higher risk of developing prostate problems, including BPH. By stabilizing your blood sugar, you are actively reducing a major source of systemic stress on your prostate. The evidence for this is compelling. Research from the University of Sao Paulo School of Medicine found that older men who participated in regular post-meal movement had up to a 35% lower risk of developing moderate to severe BPH symptoms compared to those who remained sedentary. So, think of walking as a form of post-meal medicine. You don't need a gym membership or any special equipment. It's about creating a simple, non-negotiable ritual. After you finish your meal, instead of immediately sitting down on the couch, just walk. It can be a gentle stroll around your neighborhood, a few laps in your living room, or even just walking in place while listening to music. This small investment of time produces extraordinary protective effects for your prostate and your entire body, reducing irritation, gently eliminating toxins, and supporting normal prostate function without adding any stress to your system. The fourth habit is perhaps the most overlooked of all, yet it could be the most powerful, and that is mastering restorative sleep. We often think of sleep as a passive state of rest, a luxury we can afford to cut back on when life gets busy. But this is a profound misunderstanding. High-quality sleep is not indulgence. It's a non-negotiable biological process. It is the most potent form of regenerative medicine you have, and its impact on your prostate health is far more significant than most people realize. Chronic sleep deprivation carries a deep biological cost. When you don't get enough quality sleep, your body enters a state of heightened alert, triggering an increase in systemic inflammation. But it's even more specific than that. During the deep stages of sleep, your body ramps up the production of essential hormones like melatonin and human growth hormone. While we often associate melatonin with sleep itself, it's also one of the body's most powerful antioxidants and anti-inflammatory agents. Growth hormone is critical for the repair and regeneration of tissues throughout your body, including the prostate. When sleep is consistently disrupted, Whether by stress, lifestyle, or frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, you rob your body of this critical repair window. Your levels of these protective hormones decrease, while levels of inflammatory markers rise. This creates a vicious cycle. Poor sleep contributes to prostate inflammation, and an inflamed prostate leads to more nighttime urination, which in turn leads to even worse sleep. The link between sleep and prostate health is not just theoretical. A study from the Journal of Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention made a startling discovery. After tracking thousands of men, researchers found that those who suffered from frequent sleep disturbances had double the risk of developing advanced prostate cancer compared to men who enjoyed uninterrupted sleep. So, how do you optimize your sleep for prostate health? It starts with creating a sleep sanctuary. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night in a room that is completely dark, cool, and quiet. Avoid caffeine late in the day, as its effects can linger for hours. Critically, reduce your exposure to screens, phones, tablets, and televisions for at least an hour before bed. The blue light emitted from these devices directly suppresses melatonin production, tricking your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Finally, maintain a consistent sleep schedule, going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, even on weekends. This isn't just about feeling more rested. It's about providing your body with the essential nightly medicine it needs to fight inflammation and keep your prostate healthy. And now we come to our fifth and final habit, one that has been buried under years of stigma and shame, but from a purely medical perspective, is one of the most natural and effective methods the body has for maintaining prostate health. I'm talking about regular sexual activity and, more specifically, the frequency of ejaculation. This is a topic many older men feel uncomfortable discussing, even with their doctor. But let me be clear, you are never too old to prioritize your sexual health. Concerns about physical changes, emotional dynamics, or relational issues are valid, but an open conversation is the first step. Your urologist is there to help, not to judge. From a physiological standpoint, the benefit is remarkably straightforward. Think of regular ejaculation as a natural flushing mechanism for the prostate. The process helps the prostate expel residual fluids, dead cells, and built-up inflammatory proteins, substances that, when allowed to accumulate, can contribute to congestion and irritation. This isn't just a hypothesis. It's backed by one of the most significant long-term studies ever conducted on the subject. A landmark 2016 study published in European Urology by researchers at Harvard followed more than 30,000 men for 18 years. Their findings were incredible. They discovered a fascinating correlation. Men who ejaculated 21 or more times per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those with fewer monthly occurrences. Beyond this powerful cleansing effect, sexual activity also improves pelvic circulation, reduces tension in the muscles surrounding the prostate, helps balance hormones, and lowers levels of cortisol and stress, which are known contributors to chronic inflammation. These 5 habits, strategic hydration, a prostate protective diet, post-meal walking, restorative sleep, and regular sexual activity, may seem simple. But in their simplicity lies their power. You don't have to wait for symptoms to appear to take charge of your health. You can take the initiative today. In my clinical experience, the men who live the longest and age with the most grace, those who remain mobile, confident, and independent well into their 70s and 80s, are the ones who act preventively. They don't wait for a crisis to make a change. Now you have that same opportunity. Share this knowledge with the men you love. If you are a man over 60, let this be a turning point. Start practicing these habits today. Your future self and your prostate will thank you for it. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this message valuable, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like this video to help the algorithm reach more men who need this vital information, and subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more content on men's health. Remember, prostate health isn't just about longevity, it's about living well. Stay informed, stay proactive, and above all, stay healthy. I'm Dr. Elena Navarro, reminding you that your best years are still ahead if you take care of them today. And now, we arrive at our fifth and final habit, one that has been buried under years of stigma and embarrassment, but from a purely medical perspective, is one of the most natural and effective methods the body has for maintaining a healthy prostate. I am talking about the importance of regular sexual activity and, more specifically, the frequency of ejaculation. This is a topic many older men feel uncomfortable discussing, even with their doctor, often due to physical changes, emotional concerns, or relational dynamics. Let me be clear, you are never too old to prioritize your sexual health, and you should never feel ashamed to discuss it. If you have concerns, whether they are physical, emotional, or relational, speak openly with a medical professional. Your urologist is there to help, not to judge. Biologically, the benefit is remarkably straightforward. Think of ejaculation as a natural flushing mechanism for the prostate. The process helps the gland expel residual fluids, old cells, and accumulated inflammatory proteins, substances that, when allowed to sit and stagnate, can contribute to congestion, irritation, and inflammation. This isn't just a hypothesis. It's backed by one of the most significant long-term studies ever conducted on this topic. A landmark 2016 study published in European Urology by researchers at Harvard followed more than 30,000 men over the course of 18 years. They discovered a fascinating correlation. Men who ejaculated 21 or more times per month had a 33% lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those with fewer monthly occurrences. Beyond the cleansing effect, sexual activity also improves pelvic circulation, reduces tension in the muscles surrounding the prostate, helps to balance hormones, and lowers levels of cortisol and stress, both of which are known to contribute to chronic inflammation. These 5 habits, strategic hydration, a targeted prostate protective diet, walking after meals, restorative sleep, and regular sexual activity, may seem simple, but in that simplicity lies their profound power. You don't have to wait until symptoms appear to begin steering your health in the right direction. You can take the initiative today. In my clinical experience, the men who live the longest and age with the most grace, those who remain mobile, confident, and independent well into their 70s and 80s, are the ones who act preventively. They don't wait for a crisis to make changes. Now, you have the same opportunity. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this message valuable, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a man you care about. Give this video a like to help the algorithm get this vital information to more men who need it, and subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more science-backed content on masculine health. Remember, prostate health isn't just about longevity, it's about living well. Stay informed, stay proactive, and above all, stay healthy. I'm Dr. Elena Navarro, reminding you that your best years are still ahead of you if you take care of them today. So there you have it. 5 simple habits: strategic hydration, targeted nutrition, post-meal walking, restorative sleep, and regular sexual activity. These may seem like small, modest changes, but their combined impact can be truly revolutionary. You don't need to wait for symptoms to dictate the course of your health. You have the power to take the initiative today. In my clinical experience, the men who live the longest and age with the most grace are those who act preventively. They don't wait for a crisis to make a change. Now, you have that same opportunity. Share this knowledge with the men in your life. If you found this information valuable, please give this video a like. It helps us reach more men who need this vital information. For more science-backed strategies for healthy aging, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Remember, aging is a given, but how you age is a choice. Make the choices today that your future self will thank you for.